So I actually forgot about this story. When I was in high school, me and my mom got into an argument, and for some reason, like it was a heated argument. We were arguing. Everybody else was nowhere to be found, I guess. And she actually grabbed my throat just like that. And I was just like, I resolved to do the same thing that I did when her ex husband did the same thing. And so I looked her dead in her eye and I just let my face go blank. And I like basically daring her. And in my head, I said, I wish you fucking would. I wish you would. Go ahead. Put me out of my motherfucking misery. Memory? What the fuck? So yeah. I really did. I probably projected it so hard she heard it in her head because she let go. I was so fucking sick of being physically assaulted and insulted and made to feel like I am not only incompetent but incapable of any sort of independence and responsibility outside of taking care of her kids because I'm not mature enough to learn how to drive. I'm not mature enough to learn how to shave and do basic needs stuff that I have to be taught to do because, this was before YouTube and you can't learn to drive from fucking YouTube. And all of that. I was not mature enough to do that, but I was mature enough to handle 3 children. That doesn't make any damn sense. Logically, it did not fucking compute. And so, yeah, that always frustrated the absolute shit out of me, and the fact that I kept being put in positions where I had to do stuff myself. Hence all the damn scars that I fucking have on the inside and the outside. But, a lot of the physical scars go unnoticed because I've had them so damn long. And some of them are quite hidden. I actually don't know how I got the one that's here because I have a scar here. It's barely visible, but I don't remember how it happened. Um, so yeah, it was a nightmare. Living with them was a fucking nightmare, and nobody will either remember. Like, there were no witnesses a lot of the damn time, so I don't have anybody that would be a reliable source that wouldn't protect her, that would tell me that everything that I remember is valid. And that's the worst fucking part, because if I'm fucking getting it wrong, I want to fucking admit it, but if not, then I have no way of knowing, because I've always been told that my memory is made up by her, by exes, by other family members, or that I'm blowing it out of proportion. I'm too sensitive and I remember things wrong, and all of that, all of it. Like, if I remember something wrong, I want to be able to admit it, but I need a reliable source. But there were no witnesses a lot of the times that these things happened. So there is no reliable source. And anybody who would have borne witness to any of this would probably just lie. They would probably just lie. And even I did, because there was a point where I had a lot of AP chemistry homework. It was one of my favorite fucking classes, and I bombed that fucking class because I couldn't do the homework because I was too busy cleaning up instead of doing my fucking homework. I actually ended up failing one of the AP classes that I actually had my mom pay to let me test because, getting her to do anything was a fucking nightmare. It's like fucking it was worse than pulling teeth. It was like pulling fingernails. But yeah, I ended up bombing that test because I didn't get a chance to study because I was too busy doing housework. And mind you, after a certain age, I had to cook too. It wasn't just, take the chicken out the freezer. It was take the chicken out the freezer and this is what you're going to do with it. Now, mind you, some of the days she did work late. So when she worked late, of course, I had to take over doing all of that stuff, but I was doing everything else too. And mind you, when the laundry came around, it wasn't just me doing the laundry. If she had a boyfriend that stayed the night and they left clothes behind or whatever the case was, yeah, I was doing that too because that was part of her laundry. And when we moved into the house and the boyfriend that she did have that I actually liked, uh, yeah, his boxers were in the mix too. And I was like, this is not something you should be having your teenage daughter do. Even if I am an adult teenager, like still, this didn't feel right. This felt like it was crossing boundaries. And like, I didn't see anybody that my mom was dating as anything other than a danger and a burden. But, the fact that he actually connected with me as like a nerd and even let me borrow video games and like told me about comics and like we really chatted up about like nerdy superhero stuff and that was nice. And so the burden of him being around was worth it at that point for me because at least somebody could understand me without me having to over explain something. And that, I think that was the first time I actually had anybody like really understand what I was saying without me having to over explain or like reform my words 500 different ways in order for them to fucking understand me. So, yeah. That was annoying. That was so fucking annoying. I was I grew up as a freaking nightmare, and I guess the rest of this would just be something else because I'm drawing blank now. I'm drawing blank. So fucking frustrated with thinking back to this shit, and we were never supposed to talk about it. Like we were a fucking mafia. What happens in the family stays in the family. Don't come for me, Italian TikTok. If y'all even watch this fucking video, if anybody significant even watches this video, don't come for me. I didn't watch none of the movies. I'm sorry. I didn't have time for movies. I was too busy doing all of this fucking housework. I was fucking slave to my own fucking family. And that's disgraceful. It's disgraceful to treat your children like fucking slaves, especially as African American people, because I can't say the fucking B word. Actually, as any melanated people. This is why we are still fucking behind to this fucking day because you can't fucking talk about your fucking issues. And you're perpetuating these fucking generational stereotypes as well as the trauma. And you're leaving it to somebody else to fucking fix. And then when they are trying to fix it, you are attacking the shit out of them and criticizing their every fucking move as they become the parent that you never fucking were. Look at your damn self for once. Because a lot of us have actually tried. We have tried to be that person. We always get forced to be the fucking bigger person. And we've always tried to be the person to look at ourselves first. Oh, well, maybe we are the problem. Okay, so let me come at it from a different angle. Let me just try to adjust a little bit. And maybe if I say it in a kinder way, then it'll make sense. No, you just don't give a fuck. You don't actually like your fucking children. And you need to just learn to admit it and stop worrying about what the rest of the world is going to think because they're going to hear about it either way. One way or another, they're going to fucking hear about it. It's fucking dumb. We sit here and fucking wonder why the fuck we're so goddamn behind because we keep doing this dumbass shit. The whole fucking world. Anyways, moving on to something else.